What is up, Facebook Live? It is JG, and well, actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually have my cup of tea or any beverage for that matter with me. So sorry about that. Not truly living up to the name of the episodes, but never mind. If you've got a drink with you, good for you. Hope your weekend as a whole and this Sunday has been treating you well. If you're dropping by, go ahead and drop your name in the comment section below. Let me know if you're about or not. And let's think for today, I want you to either think about or pop down in the comment section three things that you're proud about, proud of in yourself. And again, when you're thinking about these things, they can be anything. Don't limit yourself. Don't sort of restrict yourself to only a few specific things. So, for example, it could be an achievement. It could be something you've done at work. It could be a decision that you've made that you've been putting off for a while. It could be that you lived in line with with your values, that you stuck to your values when they were tested, when it was tough, when it would have been easier to not. I love what Brene Brown says about her definition of integrity, and part of it is that it's practicing your values and not just professing them. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it is one of those on the surface not necessarily noticeable things, but something that like only yourself would be aware of. And maybe that was not criticizing yourself when you did something, or maybe you're a perfectionist and you let something go. Normally you did something and you'd be cussing yourself, or not necessarily cussing yourself, but berating yourself or something like that. And this time you actually showed yourself a bit of love. You practiced a bit of self-compassion. You gave yourself an easy time. And I know that's something that I've personally been trying to practice myself a lot. I definitely have this habit of almost like a kind of automatic reaction to if I've done something, or if I feel like I've failed to do something as I kind of intended, or to the standard that I desired, that this kind of automatic reaction of kind of self-criticism, with a positive intent of trying to improve the quality, or get a result, an intended result, or whatever it may be. But the problem is, as much as that may work, that kind of stick mentality, stick method of motivation might get you to do stuff, I think ultimately at the end of the day, I don't know about you, but it leaves you feeling pretty awful at the end of it. Because even if you do get the piece of work or whatever it is achieved, and even if you do get it achieved to whatever kind of standard you're applying to, you feel you kind of condemn yourself to feel really awful in the process. And I think at the end, rather than kind of feeling proud of yourself, you almost just kind of feel more relieved than anything else. Like, oh, I managed to do it. I managed to avoid that kind of self-criticism. And then if you're in that habit, it kind of it's temporarily over until the next thing. And I kind of realised that as much as that kind of did that mentality, I never consciously chose to use that way, and it did get me a lot of really good results. And I think it's when I went through university, I managed to get really good marks and all that kind of stuff. But as I said, that long-term result, like the long-term effect, eventually kind of catches up with you, and it starts to spoil your kind of enjoyment of the process as a whole. So what I found is that are you likely to do a better job even if you kind of picture it, that self-critic, within you. If you sort of just for a second picture that self-critic as a person, you could think of it as like, I don't know, the person who was going to kind of like be marking your work or whatever thing you're doing at the end of it. Are you more likely to do a better job and enjoy the process if you've got someone who's going to give you constructive feedback, be very supportive, be very encouraging, not come down on you like a ton of bricks if you've not done it super well, compared to the person who's going to highlight every single mistake, kind of perceive mistakes when they're not even actually there. I think when you kind of compare, when you visualize your kind of that inner critic, you create some conscious awareness of it, and you picture it like that, you actually see that as much as that there are much better ways and more sustainable, more enjoyable ways of still getting great results with tasks that you're doing, enjoying the process, and being able to kind of like enjoy life in general, which is never a bad thing, right? God forbid. So that is something that I didn't intend to. I don't know where that came from. I was kind of thinking about what I was going to do tonight's episode on, but that's just something that popped out spur of the moment. So practicing self-compassion is something that personally I am very proud of, and it's something that I can tell you has a huge, return on investment in the time that you spend. I always think that my go-to kind of thought process is that if I hit any point where I start to, that inner critic starts popping up, and if you notice on the journey page, if you haven't checked that out, I would really appreciate it if you went onto my my new page. It's called The Journey, and I've been putting some content on for you guys there on methods and strategies for dealing with your inner critic. What I've noticed is that that you get a huge return on investment for practicing that self-compassion. My go-to is, if this had happened to a friend, to a close friend, what would I be saying to them? And I would never in a million years be criticizing a friend in the same way that inner critic would be treating me. So I've really, that's a really powerful tool that I've always kept in mind. I'm just bam, as soon as it happens, I'm asking myself that question. Questions dictate focus. You can only think about one thing at a time, and so it's a really quick, powerful way of getting yourself into the mindset of self-compassion. Anyway, today's topic, though, not having it. G&T, love it, mate. Living the dream. Today's topic I decided to choose was trading your expectation for appreciation. It's not my own quote, it's one I got from Tony Robbins. I feel like I pretty much use one of his quotes at least on every single episode, because I just think he's amazing and I get so much great stuff from him. Anyway, to be honest, you can apply this quote to really anything in life. But I think, personally, I found it particularly helpful when it comes to people. So what do I mean by that? I think everyone has built up their own ideas, their own expectations of how people should act, how they should treat us, what they should do. If we do something for them, how should they be reciprocating it, and blah blah. And I think, I remember Les Brown was saying that, there are no perfect people in this world. So if you're just looking for one, you're going to end up finding these inevitable kind of flaws. I don't really think of them as a negative thing at all, but you're going to be disappointed if you have this rigid idea of exactly how people should be behaving according to you. And I think ultimately, it that it kind of spoils relationships, whether it's a friendship, family member, romantic relationship, whatever. I think the kind of the moral of the story is, or the idea that you're trying to get from the quote is that you're trying to appreciate how those people are, appreciate everything that they do, rather than and trading your idea of how they should be for who they are at the end of the day. And I've definitely started to let go of previous things that were previously maybe like annoyed me a little bit or irritated me with the way other people were acting. And even if they did something to kind of like, I don't know, irritate me or piss me off, I'd challenge myself to go, okay, well, sure, they've done that, but what's one thing I can appreciate about that person. And it's sometimes other people really make it challenging to to think of something like that. But nonetheless, I think it's a really, really good exercise to start to practice in the same way I'm saying about self-compassion, all these things, appreciation, gratitude. Is that they're all it's not a case of you have these things or you don't. It's just like reps at the gym, like an exercise, that you get better at it the more like reps you perform, the more you put these things into practice. So I've been doing that a lot more, and I really feel like it. I honestly feel like it helps when, even if these events or encounters that you had with people where they've annoyed you, or you think they should be doing this for you or that thing, and how could they treat you in this way, and sometimes even once those things are all said and done and over in the past, is that you can still hold on to those things for a long time. So you may even want to just think about this not just in present situations, but going back in the past and thinking about the way people have acted, and or an expectation you had of them that you could trade for an appreciation. And don't get me wrong here, it's not to say that you're making excuses for people if they've behaved in an unacceptable way. It's not trading in that at all. All I'm saying is that with those trying to find aspects, or trying to focus in on something about those people that you could appreciate, and maybe you've heard this. I think a lot of people can relate to this. Is that even if somebody has acted in a negative way, maybe being treated in that way was the actual stimulus, the trigger you needed to draw a line in the sand and say, you know what, no more. I'm not going to allow myself to accept being treated in that way. So you can find little hidden gems like that from negative situations. So it's something to consider, and I encourage you to have a go at that. And that is today's lesson. And again, if you guys have just joined, please go ahead, if you haven't already, and jump on my page, The Journey. If you would be so kind as to drop me a like on there, I'd really appreciate it. I may even sort of transfer the live videos on a Sunday over to that page at some point. And again, if there's any particular topics or anything like that that you guys are feeling challenged by, or would want to kind of me to sort of throw my 2 cents in, feel free to message me. And as always, anything for whatever reason, particularly anybody who's going through tough times and is feeling a little bit alone in those kind of mental battles, please, sincerely, and I mean this, feel free to message me, even if you don't know me personally, but you just want somebody to reach out to. I mean that 100%. So feel free to drop me a message anytime. Anyway, that's it for Cup of Tea with JG, episode 5. Thanks for joining us if you did, and I hope you have a really fantastic week, and we will see you again at the same time next Sunday. Okay, fist bump. Peace.